Peace and blessings, everyone. This is Osho Muiwa, also known affectionately by some of you as Mama Magical. I wanted to come on here. First and foremost, I hope all of you all are well and blessed and living in alignment and array. I wanted to briefly discuss spell work, magical work, recipes, workings, whatever you would like to refer to it as. I want to talk about that. Why doesn't it work sometimes? Sometimes you feel like you've done everything. You don't understand why it's not working. You get frustrated and then you give up. Well, first and foremost, I would like to point out the fact that sometimes for a lot of us, before we begin our work, before you begin your work, are you clear on who you're working with? First and foremost, what spirits are you calling on? Are you working with your ancestors? Are you working with spirit guides? Are you working with the deity? Who are you working with? Who are you communicating with in the spiritual realm that is going to assist you in carrying out this work? That's first and foremost. A lot of us just do work and don't even take a moment to think about, who am I going to work with? Because certain spirits are they quote unquote specialize in certain types of energy. So you can tap into that. Um, Secondly, I would want to say blockages. Have you cleared your blockages? Do you need to do a blockbuster? What could be practically, not just spiritually, but practically hindering your work? And also, I will say spiritually as well. So, blockages, remove any blockages. And with that being said, did you take a spiritual bath? Have you cleansed yourself? Before you do any spiritual work, you want to make sure that you are clean. Your physical body is clean, your aura is clean, your surroundings where you're going to do your work is clean. All of that has to be clean, washed down, and cleared out. That's very important because remember, everything has an energy signature attached to it. So you have to consider all of those things, right? That's very, very important. If you see me looking this way, I'm looking at my notes because I don't want to forget anything. So first of all, you know who you're working with, you've cleansed yourself, you remove any blockages that might be hindering your work from being successful. Then you want to be clear. Clarity. That even goes with divination, divining, right? When we shuffle the cards, we need to be clear in our mind, and we need to be clear and have a good understanding of what the question that we're going to ask, right? So this is the same thing for spiritual work. You need to be clear in your mind, clear on your intentions. Why am I doing this? What is my goal? What am I expecting to happen? You have to be clear, especially when you work with spirits. A clear, mind, clear results. That's very, very important. So clarity is very, very important. So once you're clear, you set your intention, you're doing your work, you have to also know that after the work is complete, the physical and spiritual work is complete, so to speak, the work keeps working. You may have to keep working your work. You might have to do certain things. You might have to say certain prayers. You might have to just, continue to work that work that you've done, that recipe, that spell work, whatever you have done. You have to continue to do that. That might be spiritually and practically, and also, with that being said, your unwavering faith. Unwavering faith. You have to believe it. Know that it is already worked. Know that you have done all you can. You don't see it any other way, that it is successful. You have achieved it. Like the good book says, faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains. And we know that those mountains are our tribulations and our challenges. So you have to have that unwavering faith. After you do the work, yes, you should believe in it. You shouldn't really obsess over it and wonder if it's working. But once again, continue to feed that spell, feed that working, even just with your thoughts when you think about it. So that's very, very important. That unwavering faith. Not finally. Then patience. A lot of us think that, well, I did the work, and why am I not seeing any results? I did it 2 days ago. Nothing has happened. Allow, first and foremost, divine timing is different than our physical understanding of timing. That's first and foremost. The spiritual realm, what can seem like, a year to us could be a day in the spiritual realm, just in layman's term, the way I'm describing it. But you know, we have to understand that our timing, our understanding of timing is always going to be different. First and foremost, whatever you're trying to get yourself out of, I'm sure it didn't take you a day or two to get into it, and maybe it did, you know, but you still have to consider that things take time. And in that time, once again, that is hand in hand with faith. Know that the spirits, your ancestors, your deity, whatever spirit you called on, whatever energy you're working with, trust that they got this. They got it. Let them do what they need to do. Once again, don't let that doubt break your faith. Your faith has to be strong all the way through. That's very, very important. And one of the most, you know, crucial points that you need to understand beyond all the other steps that I just, you know, pointed out is free will. Free will, especially if you call yourself trying to work on someone else. And see, that's why when it comes to love work, it's best when that person is in agreement, you know, because if you do some love work on someone and they don't want to be with you in the first place, you might get the man, but will you really get him the way you want him? He might be very hostile the entire time he's with you, very, you know, resentful, aggressive, and he doesn't even know why, because his soul and his spirit is fighting against something that it did not ask for. So the best type of love work is when the person, your partner, your lover, your spouse is in agreement with the work that is being done. That just makes it amplified. It makes it more potent, you know, if you will. But back to free will, you know, we all have free will. If we didn't have free will, could you imagine? You would be like a zombie, right? You would be like a little puppet. People would be, you know, pulling your strings all day, every day. You wouldn't even have control of your own thoughts, let alone your body, you know, because we all have something called free will, right? So you have to consider that. That is something that we are all divinely giving, and nothing can override that. Yes, you can manipulate energies, you can do certain things here and there, but in actuality, you know, all everything falls on free will. And another thing too, especially if you call yourself doing dark magic or witchcraft towards someone, they don't have to believe in it. They don't have to believe in it if they're not worried about it, if they are living their lives, if they're doing their protection work. That stuff is bouncing off them and probably will come back to you. And with that point being said, remember that whatever energy that you put out there, it has to come back to you. That's just the law of reciprocation, the law of balance. A lot of universal laws have to be considered when you are doing your spell work. So I think I've made all my points, guys, as far as why your work may not be working. I think that's it. So if I think of anything else, or if you have any questions, I was going to talk a little bit more about different spirits and how you can form your relationships with them. Shout out to my ancestor class that I just did yesterday. That was really good. But for the sake of, you know, the intention of the video, I'm just going to keep it right here. We're going to end it here. So I love you guys. But I do want to say, because, hey, anytime I talk about spirituality, I have to talk about the ancestors. I'm sorry, I got to. Your relationship with your spirits mean a lot too. That can definitely have an influence and an impact on how quickly your work is working as well. Are you feeding your ancestors or your spirits? Are you appeasing them? Are you giving them things as well? Because it's an equal balance. It is you know, it's a exchange there. You know, you can't just take from a spirit and think that's just going to come through for you. No, you know, so I want to say that as well. Having a good, solid relationship with the spirits you work with, you know, that's always going to help your work be more, you know, get those results that you want to get. And I will say this while we're talking about feeding spirits. I think it's important to say that once you start interacting with spirits, once you start to, you know, give them offerings, ask and call on their assistance, you just can't cut it off like that. So with that being said, you really, really need to take your time and consider what you're getting yourself into. Because once again, once you open those doors, it can't be closed. So I love you all. Peace and blessings. Be well. Ashe.